Hey folks, it's Chef Kevin. If you're thinking of building a perilla, I'm going to advise you, don't. Because what's going to happen is you're going to end up spending more time with the perilla than your wife. Alright, moving right along. If you're thinking of building a perilla, then one of the best tools you could use is a magnetic drill, a mag drill. This came in really helpful for me because I was making fairly large holes, like 3/4 inch holes in the rectangular tubing to hold the shaft on both ends, as well as several holes, large holes again, in 1/4 inch thick stainless steel. So those are tough cuts. You really can't do that on a regular drill press. You need a serious drill press, preferably one that is geared instead of pulleys. But the mag drill came in really handy, and I decided I'm going to do a little demo on that, just in case you are interested in how to use it. Let's go inside the shop. Okay folks, the mag drill. These are really used more in construction sites than in machine shops. They're really designed to make holes in I-beams and steel plates and such. And the good thing about them is the magnetic base, it's an electromagnetic base, will stick to any type of steel structure. So you could drill with this upside down if you wanted. Okay, I'm going to turn it on. Okay, the holding power is there. This table's on wheels, but I'm trying to pull it off and I can't. It's got a lot of weight, a lot of force, not weight, a lot of force. And the thicker the metal, the more strength you have, the stronger it is. Now this is only 3/16 plate, so I'm sure that would be enough. But what I'm going to do is put this C-clamp underneath it, not underneath it, but on top of the base here, and that'll give me plenty of strength, plenty of force, so that won't budge. You don't want that to move when you're cutting. Okay, and there's a safety feature here. You cannot actually turn the machine on. You can't turn the spindle. The spindle won't rotate until the magnetic switch is on. So that's good. All right. This is the cutter, and it's called an annual cutter because of its shape. Now these babies aren't cheap. This is like 60 bucks. You can see it's hollow on the inside. This is 7/8. Now they sell these separately. These are the ejector pins, and you don't really need it, but it does make life a little bit easier. What it does is it forces out the slug at the bottom. This way you can get a nice clean cut. If the slug gets caught, you have to bring the head back up, the tool back up, and then knock it out with a hammer and chisel. And this also comes in very important if you want to place the bit in a precise position. You can, punch a piece of metal and then that'll be your guide. Otherwise, you pretty much have to eyeball it where it is. So it depends upon how accurate of a cut you're trying to get. Okay, I'm going to make a 7/8 hole through a piece of metal, a random hole, a random piece of metal, just to show you how to do it. I won't be using the ejector pin because I'm going to be placing a scrap piece of wood under here, under the cutter, and place the metal on top of that. That way the cutter will cut into the wood and not the tabletop. So I won't be able to use the pin because the pin would have to go through the tabletop in order to be useful. So like I said, you really don't need it, but it does work out well. Okay, let me get this set up. Okay, if you look at the shank, you have flats on two sides, and that just goes into the chuck. It self-centers as you tighten it. Now, if you don't have a mag drill, you can use this bit in a drill press if you have the correct adapter, and this is what it looks like. Okay, here are two samples of an adapter. The one on the left is Morse taper 2 or 3, and the one on the right has a 3/4 straight shank with a flat on it. This one over here, another example, it has a straight shank as well with a flat, and that has a 1/2 inch shank on it. Okay, so let's make a hole. I have my oil ready here. Magnet on. Okay, this is the slug I was referring to. It didn't get stuck inside the tool, but it did pop open. But there's a little rim, you can't see it. There's a little rim which would have been impossible to cut if that slug was in the way. So I'm just going to finish the cut. Once you see the wood, then you know the cut is made. Yikes. Okay, let me just clean this up. There it is, folks. Nice clean cut on both sides, 7/8, and this is 3/16 thick flat stock. So you can see, you saw how easy it was. I mean, you really can't make that size of a hole on a regular drill press. One of the things you have to do occasionally is clean the bottom of the drill, because otherwise when you move it around it'll accumulate little bits and pieces of metal, and then it doesn't sit exactly flat like it needs to. So the other bad thing about the mag drill is the fact that it has very short throat. Throat is the distance between the center of the spindle and the machine itself. So that's only about a couple of inches. So, you know, if you want to invest in the adapter, you may be better off. The mag drills themselves are fairly expensive. I bought this, sorry, I bought this pre-COVID, and it was like $450 on Amazon. So I'm sure they're more expensive now, like everything else. Okay, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hasta mañana.